So the extreme value theorem says that if a function is continuous over a closed interval, then that function will have an absolute maximum and an absolute minimum on that interval. Let's apply it to this quadratic function. It's a polynomial function. Polynomial functions are continuous everywhere, so the extreme value theorem will definitely apply. The first thing we're going to need to do is figure out what is f of negative 4. So if we use our calculators here and figure that out, be careful using your calculator. Make sure that when you square x for negative 4 that you put the negative 4 in parentheses so the calculator will apply order of operations correctly. Matter of fact, it's not a bad idea just to put numbers in parentheses all the time in the calculator. It takes care of things quite nicely. I get f of negative 4 is equal to negative 11. And I get f of 4 is equal to, if we do the same thing here, using my parentheses again, even though I don't have a negative, just to be safe, stay in the habit, I get f of 4 is equal to 45. So those are two possible places where we could have an absolute extreme value. But we could also pick up absolute extrema, as we've seen through a variety of examples, when we are at a critical number. So let's also consider the derivative, f prime of x, in this case is equal to 4x plus 7. Now that will never be undefined, so we don't have to worry about any critical numbers from that, but it definitely can be 0. If we solve 0 is equal to 4x plus 7, we'll find out that x is equal to a negative 7/4. So we also need to consider that. That is, we need to evaluate the function when x is negative 7/4. So we'll take 2, we'll multiply that by negative 7/4 in parentheses and then squared, plus 7, I'll put the negative 7/4 in parentheses again, minus 15, and I get negative 21.125. That's definitely more negative than the negative 11. So I'm going to end up having an absolute maximum at the point 4 and 45, and I'm going to have an absolute minimum at the point negative 7/4 and negative 21.125. You might want to take a minute and actually graph this function on that interval. Go ahead and type in the 2x squared plus 7x minus 15 into your graphing calculator. You might want to set the window to negative 4 to positive 4. And then if you want to do something a little clever with your calculator, once you have the window set to the width of that interval, choose the zoom key and choose option 0, which is called zoom fit, and it will choose an appropriate y scale for you. It'll choose an appropriate y min and a y max. And if we do a little bit of tracing on that, you should definitely be able to see that at negative 4 we get a value of negative 11. At negative 7/4 we get a value of negative 21.125, and that is the lowest value on the interval. And at positive 4 we get a value of 45, and that's the highest value on the interval. Please don't be afraid to check these things out on your calculator once you've done this work. Don't look at the calculator first. Look at it afterwards as a check to make sure the work you've done by hand is correct.